Welcome everyone to the Chompcast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp and SwordChomp.com. Thank you for downloading and streaming our podcast, taking some time out of your busy life to listen to us. And remember, if you're digging the show, please subscribe, leave us a kind rating, tell your friends, whatever you can do to help get the word of Sword Chomp and the Chompcast out there. It really helps in reaching a bigger audience. We have a great show today with a very special guest that I will introduce here in just a few minutes. But first, let's get to the the crew of Sword Chomp. Let's get to some quick introductions. From Michigan, Joshua, I finally got moved into my new house. Fowler is here. How you doing, Josh?
Doing all right. A little worn out. I was up late again last night trying to make sure I had working internet so we actually could do this morning instead of having to run back to the office again for one more podcast. But and should be settled finally.
Josh has an awesome new setup there. It looks glorious. And the funny thing is, your first podcast in your new house is at the weirdest time we've ever recorded, possibly. Whereas we normally record at night, and it's like it's early in the morning right now because our special guest that we'll introduce in a minute is halfway across the world. So yeah, weird way to kind of bring.
Not my fault.
I'm blaming the new guest already.
Yeah.
That's how it works. We just blame you for everything.
I'm foreign. It's fine.
We do blame foreigners for a lot here. That's kind of our shtick in America.
Yeah.
We all do it. We all do it.
That's kind of our thing. So weird way to bring it in, Josh, but glad you got everything hooked up really quick, got the internet going, got your setup going real fast, and you're in the new home. So glad to have you here, my friend. And next up, we have from Texas. Our next host is actually part of a Destiny 2 clan called the Death Deliverers, a clan composed of pizza boys that he works with that deliver pizza by day, but they pop Vex skulls by night. Bada bing, bada boom, the Death Deliverers. I know I usually start off the show with a joke, but that, my dear friends, is actually very real. Anthony Fisher is here. How you doing, Fish?
Hey. Bada bing, bada boom. I'll put the Vex in the tombs.
See, there's your accent. That's your go-to accent.
I think that was it. Yeah.
That was it. That's his go-to.
You found it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, morning, guys. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I literally woke up like 15 minutes ago. And yeah, this is different. Very different. Sun's out. Usually I'm podcasting at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
The
smell of coffee. It's like the morning show. It's like the sports radio show early in the morning or the news show. It's got that weird morning vibe to it. But yeah, Fish, I think you're gonna make it. I was messaging everyone, and everyone was here except you. There was no check mark on Fish's Skype file. I was like, well, he slept. He's not gonna make it, but you did. You're here.
Yeah. Funny thing is I set my alarm clock about an hour before it's supposed to be actually on, and I heard it. I got up and everything, but I was like, man, I just want to close my eyes for 1 second.
Oh, no.
And that 1 second turned into an hour. Where my phone was ringing, and I was like, oh, shit. What the hell happened?
That's how I lost my job, Fish, was I just want to close my eyes for a second. Oh, you're fired. You can't show up to work 3 hours late. It's how it always happens. But, glad you're here, Fish. Despite your awful clan name and the fact that you've traded the Sword Chomp clan, which I will talk about later. I'm too angry to talk about that right now. We're trying to keep things happy. But Fish is here, so thank you. And our special guest, Jason Roberts from France, a.k.a. Victory Overall, our good friend, designer of the Sword Chomp logo and our special end of the year awards and logo as well. Hello, Jason. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good. Apologies for making you guys get up so early, but it's 3:45 over here in France, so I'm nice and fresh. I'm cool.
Well, we're happy to get up early for you, my friend. You've done a lot for us. excellent. Our Sword Chomp logo is I've never heard a negative thing. In fact, I can compare our logo to pretty much any other major podcast or gaming company logo out there, and it's miles better. Like, I'll look at these professional companies like, Giant Bomb, that's your logo? Come on. So you did great
cool,
work,
thank
my
you.
friend.
No, it's cool. It's it's literally one of the coolest jobs I've ever had to do, and since actually doing that, I've kind of done a few more gaming related jobs. I actually worked with a few game developers, none of which I can actually talk about, unfortunately. But hey, but yeah, it's kind of it's as a designer working with anything that's gaming related is like it's marrying two my passions. So yeah, I was just super pleased to work on it, and yeah, now I'm here chatting to you guys. So it's awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that's really cool. And, if any of those game designers you're working with, Jason, if you ever get a chance, just send them our way. We'd love to talk to them anytime on the Chompcast. We'll take any special guests. But yeah, no, it's really cool to have you here. And I'm going to reveal I was working with you. The reason I got you on the show is I messaged you a couple weeks ago. I was going to surprise the crew with an end of the year game of the year logo, because we designed this thing called the Dagger Tooth, which I thought was a really cool and fitting thing for us. And it was basically a trophy that was a tiny dagger with a shark sword on it, but it kind of fit the original idea we had for Sword Chomp, and it was like our awards that we gave out at the end of the year. But it didn't fit the vibe of the new logo, so I got in touch with you. I wanted to just like get your take on it, and you were like, "Hey, I was actually thinking of designing like a trophy a couple weeks ago."
Yeah. It was really strange because it was just popping around in my head. I just kind of thought it would be really cool to create some cool themed kind of stuff that was based on what you had already. Because I think that's the thing with the Sword Chomp stuff is you had some kind of pretty solid ideas and stuff, and it's cool to kind of take somebody who somebody's ideas and turn that into some some cool kind of polished visual stuff. And so it was just luck, I guess, that we were both kind of on the same kind of wavelength.
Fuck luck. It was fate. It was a fated meeting. So, and it was
destiny.
It was That's what that was. Oh, they're bringing it back. Fish is hard already.
Destiny too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to reveal those this week in honor of you being on the show because they look really cool, and I want to get people excited about that. I've been holding off on those. Awesome. I've been excited to show those to people, but been holding off just for you. And of course, I am General Mountain Time, Morgan Barnes here from Montana, and Shea is our beloved Shea from Japan is supposed to show up here in a little bit, so we'll slide him into the show whenever he does get on, because he's got a lot of stuff to talk to us about today, including Sonic Mania, which he's been playing like crazy. He's been really excited about. We also are going to talk a little Destiny, maybe even original Destiny. I got a reason why later on with Jason. We're going to talk a little bit more Metroid. We've been playing a little bit more Metroid, Samus Returns. So like all the games on today's show are big hitters, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then no bio break today just because we didn't think Shea, our resident biologist, was going to make it. And at the last second, he decided he was going to make it. But that's okay, because we have all sorts of cool games to talk about, as well as our primary topic of the show, which is basically friendship and gaming, or gaming friendship. It goes a lot deeper than that, and I'm going to give Jason a chance to sort of introduce his topic here, because whenever I get in touch with people to be on the podcast, I want to give everyone a chance to think of a topic that they're passionate about or interested in to bring to the table. And Jason had a really good one, so I'll throw it to you, Jason, if you want to introduce the topic, and we can kind of kick it off here.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's gaming and friendship. So, I mean, like we were saying before about we were chatting earlier about me living in France. I used to be over in the UK. So it's kind of got to a point where gaming has become quite an important thing for me to keep contact with people. So yeah, I mean, I did think about being a graphic designer and designing your logo, all that kind of stuff. I did consider doing some kind of super boring topic about graphic design in video games and all this kind of stuff. There's probably other podcasts and websites and stuff where you can go for all that kind of fun stuff. But then, yeah, it's just this whole thing of games becoming more important personally for me now. So I just thought, why not do something like that? So yeah, it was mainly inspired by my my friendship with my brother, really. So that's where the topics kind of come from.
Yeah, I think it's a good one because it actually, not only can a lot of people relate to it, but it actually harkens back to like exactly why our podcast formed. So it's a very easy very easy topic for me. I mean, when I think of Fish, I think the first time I met him, we were in middle school and we were just like standing in line for lunch, and I heard him talking about Metal Gear Solid, and then I'm like, oh, who's this sexy Filipino man talking about Metal Gear Solid? So and then our friendship hit it off from there. Next thing you know, we were having imaginary sword fights in the playground where I was Seifer and he was Squall from Final Fantasy. And Josh, these were not those kind of sword fights, Josh, I promise.
Are you sure?
Yeah. We would have been expelled from school.
Mm-hmm. That would explain everything.
Yeah. Well, you're not far off. But and then like with Josh, when I first met Josh, he's a big Nintendo kid in Mississippi. I moved there. I was kind of like a loner and outcast kid because I had moved around in the military. But Josh,
well, that and Linkin Park was popular at the time, so it was kind of
yeah. I was the kid with the Linkin Park hoodie every day. I was that kid.
I was the one with the Korn and Slipknot hoodies. Yeah, I was that kid.
Yeah, well, that was like the same batch. Yeah, I mean that was like the same batch of music that my friends listened to too. So, yeah, and so it was when I met Josh. We got really into, like, me and Josh got these really in-depth conversations about all these video games that we were playing, because I was, right before I moved, I was getting heavily into like Metal Gear Solid 2 and Final Fantasy 10, and my whole life I was a really big nerd. So like gaming brought us all together, and Shea, who will be hopefully on the show later, same thing. We actually met him when we were doing our old podcast, which I won't bore listeners with, but basically we did a podcast a couple of years ago, and he used to host that with us as well. So video games have brought us together. So that was my first takeaway. I wanted to give Josh, like, when we started talking about this topic, what were you thinking? Like,
I mean, obviously the show came to mind right away because, I mean, that's kind of, we haven't lived near each other for a long time. I mean, most of us, I mean, you and Shea were near each other for a while, but other than that, we've been all over the place, and gaming is kind of the only way we've kept in touch. To make that all keep going. But yeah, I mean, other than that though, I've been able to keep up with some of my family the same way, similar to what you were saying. Not my siblings aren't huge gamers, so I haven't really kept up with them as much. But other members of my family, just kind of extended family and stuff, will game occasionally. My brother-in-law is a big WoW player, so we played a bunch of that just to keep up. And that it just, it always gives you something to go do. So it's not yeah.
It's kind of like couples that game together. It's like you have a little extra, because sometimes couples, even if they're a good relationship, they have trouble finding stuff to do together. And it's always nice when you've seen a couple that plays games together or likes watching each other play games, because it's like they have something to do together. And that's so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Fish?
Yeah, going right off that, of course you guys are my bestest of friends as far as life in general, and in video game talk as well. Like, I don't know, it's crazy that video games keeps us together in a way, this podcast as well. But like, if video games weren't here, like, we really wouldn't have this common thread to